Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Aris Mining's channel, operating one of Colombia's highest grade gold mines. Joining us, Tyron, the Senior Vice President, who's going to give us some insight from not only being on the ground floor, but the broad view perspective of the current gold outlook. So first and foremost, welcome, sir.
Thanks. It's good to be back. Yeah, so just back from our sites down in Colombia, we took some sell-side analysts and some potential investors to go and visit Segovia. That's our producing mine. It's a quirky mine, but I think what they realized is it's our ATM machine, and it's going to fund our growth. So we visited that. We went to go and see Soto Norte, which is probably our biggest asset by asset value, but it's unpermitted, and so they got a sense of the permitting challenges and opportunities. I think a highlight was a dinner with one of our board members, Monica de Graaf. She's very well regarded in Colombia. She used to be the justice minister for the country. And so I think she gave them a lot of insight about the country and how clean, safe gold mining that engages with the stakeholders, particularly the informal miners, which Aris has been really good at, is going to unlock the key to permitting. So again, we are a new company. We've existed for less than 18 months. We had one analyst covering us 4 months ago. We now have, I think, 5 analysts covering us, and we had 7 of them at site. So I am pleased to have someone out there to help amplify our story. It's one thing for management to tell you how good our operations are, but now I can point you to a neutral party who's actually had some boots on the ground.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about the boots on the ground, but let's take it from the broad view perspective and roll back a little bit. Gold is really starting to prove resilient here into the latter half of the year, and it's kind of reclaiming its story as the stabilizer during these kind of inflationary periods. People are really skeptical on the markets. Crypto's completely crashing. What are your thoughts on the outlook of gold?
I'm super bullish. I can feel it in my bones. If you look at the gold price in every currency other than US dollars, we entered a bull market right around when the rate hiking cycle began, so sort of 6 or 7 months ago. The US dollar, as has happened before in previous gold bull markets, initially the US dollar outpaces the gold price. That makes sense. We're now seeing that rally run out of steam. And I think this FTX scandal has happened at exactly the right time, because I think some of the money that was chasing FTX and crypto and Bitcoin, they were looking for an alternative to fiat currencies. I think they understand the concept, and for the last 100 years plus, gold has fulfilled that role. And at the same time, the companies, the gold equities themselves, are in better shape than they've ever been. 6 years ago, Barrick had $13 billion of debt, I believe. They've completely eradicated that debt. I think we're seeing the biggest number of buybacks from gold producers ever. So there isn't a lot of growth in the sector, but the balance sheets are in great shape. And as the gold price starts to rise, they can open the floodgates. And one of the things I like about Aris is we offer a lot of torque. Okay, so we're a producer, right? So we're producing right now. If the gold price goes up, we make more money today. But we have 25 million ounces in the ground. And what I saw as a sell-side analyst is when gold really rips, people start to look at your shelf projects, see how much exposure you have, and we don't fall short on that front. So I think we have a bit of asymmetry where we're producing, we have good margins, robust balance sheet. We're just fine if the gold price stays flat or goes down. But if gold rips, we should offer a lot of leverage. But yeah, I'm very bullish into 2023 on that commodity for sure.
I really appreciate those insights. And kind of back to the boots on the ground here. Do you want to give a little bit of idea toward your resource estimate? I know you have that pre-feasibility for the Marmato. Just give us an idea of kind of the current assets.
Yeah, so, okay, Segovia is our beating heart. It's doing about 220,000 ounces a year, about 85 million in free cash flow. It's been remarkably steady. One of the things the analysts saw at site is the surface stockpile. So there's about a month's worth of ore on surface. So we can blend the grades and make sure that the rock going into the mill is a steady grade day after day after day. And that's why it's so stable. I think that came across in the tour. Our next project, our growth project, is Marmato. That's a small mine right now doing 27,000 ounces a year. We're going to turn it into a big mine by going into something called the lower zone. That's a great, big, wide porphyry. We recently put out some great news. We released a new pre-feasibility study. There's been a lot of inflation in the sector. Fuel prices have bounced around. Labor rates have bounced around. Currencies have moved around. So I think it was really good to give the street a conservative, fresh estimate. What that study showed is it's going to cost us $280 million US to build this mine. This mine will double our production, okay? The NPV of this mine at spot gold is around $500 million. So to me, that's a good investment opportunity. $280 million in, $500 million NPV. And I think it's worth remembering that we have $352 million in cash right now, with a lot of cash coming in from Segovia and our silver stream. So this asset is overfunded. So I think when we actually hit the go button on that project in the middle half of next year, I think that's going to be a big catalyst for the company and our shareholders.
This is by far the most amount of excitement I've heard out of the market in quite a little while here. If investors have one thing to focus on moving into 2023 when it comes to Aris, what would it be?
It would be watching us move Marmato forward. Okay, Colombia. I'm comfortable with Colombia. I spend a lot of time there. 3 of our board members are Colombian, but I think for investors, they struggle to discount and quantify the risk. And so if we go and build Marmato, which is our next big mine, it shows that Colombia is open for business, and that they embrace good, clean mining. So I think that's the thing they need to focus on, is that permit and the build out of our next asset.
Well, on that note, I'll pass the question off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you guys think about all this in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as news hits the wire, we're going to continue to update you here. But stay cool, stay awesome, and as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.